Good day all. Ira Epstein of Linn & Associates with your metals market update, and this is for Monday, the 3rd of June, 2019, just around 4:15 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Gold, a strong performance day. The other metals up, and gold is acting especially good. It helped, didn't hurt gold, to see that Fed member Ballard of the St. Louis Bank, Fed Bank, is talking that the economy is slowing down, risks to trade that's going on right now. Maybe the Fed has to lower some targets. That put pressure, a lot of pressure on the dollar, kicked the euro up smart as can be. Tomorrow you also have in the metals the Royal Reserve Bank of Australia. I keep saying Royal. Reserve Bank of Australia coming out, and they are expected for the first time since 2016 now to make a move on interest rates, which lowers them. In fact, there's many economists that think because of the U.S.-Chinese trade war that Australia by the end of the year could see several rate cuts. So importance going on there too. Energy markets fighting off what's going on from the tariff wars and the slowdown in the world economies, with getting comments, in fact, there from the Saudis that maybe they'll have to adjust supply. That's another word. They may even keep cuts. Remember a while back they were talking they were going to go up and they could increase the production? This was 2 weeks ago. I wouldn't be surprised if they're not talking with this slowdown to keep the cuts right where they're at. So there's a lot going on. But the gold market, impressive. Nothing short of that. It's been a long time, end of March, April timeframe. You see it right here. For this market to get up and be over this 18-week moving average of closes, it's honing in on this last resistance of 1329.20. When you do price counts, and I don't have them up here, I'm going to be doing a metal video as early as either tonight or first thing tomorrow. Depends how I feel the rest of the day. And I'm going to do some price count work there for you. 1336, 1348 area seems to be a target for this market. I'm not saying it has to go there, but on a price count, you get what's called targets, and we'll talk about that in my video, my metals video. When we look at the August gold, this is what I mean by impressive. If I take this away on the daily chart, you had gotten up into this resistance area. Now, don't get me wrong. There are peaks in gold going all the way back here to the 1400 level. So you've cleared this one. You're now cleared this one. This puts what I see, that 1336 level, is the next number that comes into play on the price counts in the market. We'll see if that develops. In terms of swing line, the trend is up. And you've just come from 1279, $60 higher. I mean, it's a heck of a move this market's done. It got to the 100-day average on Friday, and normally it's fallen back when it's been hitting this recently. Do you see what I'm getting at? And instead, the market today launched forward. That's a different characteristic than this market has shown, and it's very possible that we're looking at an important watershed event happening in the gold market. In terms of breaking out of the Bollinger Bands, you did today, out of a somewhat, but not what I call traditional sideways action. That still leads me to think that sooner rather than later, you'll pull back into the Bollinger Bands. But this market has got an energy about it now that it hasn't had for a very long period of time. Is the market overbought? Yes. You can see the reading right here, nowhere near embedding. So that's why I'm thinking, yeah, you can stay over the upper Bollinger Band a bit, but more likely than not, you'll try to pull back within it. It paid some attention, as you could see, to the 100-day average. So I would not be surprised on the first pullback that that number near right now, the 1308.5 zone, is tested on the downside when and if a correction comes. I use two words there, when and if. When you take a look at the daily bar chart on GLD, you'd been in an uptrend, you can see that. And the market's first resistance, I thought, was going to show up 122.45 to 122.60, and it did on Friday. But today's action, surprising. You were getting overbought, and you just kept launching higher. Here, too, I would not be surprised that on and when a pullback occurs, that 100-day average becomes something of importance. I could say the same on this, the GDX ETF. You got up on Friday, you had the higher highs, higher lows. This is much more traditional of a base. This is much cleaner looking than the gold futures itself. You got up to this number, and now you're punching through. The next zone of resistance right in this area, about another 70, 80 cents higher, I'm guessing, right in through from here, right where I'm pointing, down to here. So keep your eyes on this, but it's a different look to the gold complex. The gold-silver ratio still not improving. You can see that it's still moving in favor of the gold market. The silver got a bounce, but this chart looks nothing like the gold. You've got the lower and low, higher high. Maybe you get up to the resistance of the upper Bollinger Band, but I don't see this market coming under that punch the way that you had in the gold. Copper market again, and it's done this consistently. It's finding that that lower Bollinger Band is, even when it pushes it, you get a bounce. You had an outside day up today. You still have the embedded reading. If this number closes over 20, well, that will give me an idea that maybe price and the 18-day average may run at each other. However, I still have my doubts as a person that reads all day long about commodities that without the U.S.-China trade war ending, that what we're doing is we're seeing slowdowns elsewhere, and it doesn't help us to have a fight with our neighbor in Mexico. So as this is all going on, how does it benefit copper? I can see technical bounces, very difficult to see a fundamental reason. Yet in the platinum market, I had thought the same, and if you look at platinum, look pretty bearish. I would have thought the bears were going to support their positions in this range. They threw in the towel. All you did is go back to the 18-day average of closes. That's what I'd expect, and that's when you lost the embedded reading, the market did. But where you go from here is anybody's guess. Will you be able to close over this 18-day average? And you haven't done that since back here at the end of April. We'll see. There's two levels of resistance, the 18-day and the 100, and the question is this no more than a bounce in that market? In the palladium market, you reverse the spread. And what I mean by that is you went up $26 in platinum, and people often spread these two against each other, and the palladium slipped back down. Now, palladium had been in the upper Bollinger Band, the 100-day average of closes, fell back, momentum down. You're not trending. You're going sideways in these Bollinger Bands. And last, the dollar index entered a downtrend today. Now, admittedly, it's in this big area of these two black bands, and it's just moving back and forth, but you've got lower highs, lower lows, target, lower Bollinger Band. If it picked up momentum, could be the 100-day average, but this market's looking pretty toppy here, and there's a psychological change that is going on. And what that psychological change is pretty simple. The change that is going on is now the market's not saying, well, the dollar's the best of the group. The other markets are moving against it because now people are questioning, is the dollar about to shoot itself in the foot with all these trade wars in so many different ways that we're in them? What good is that doing us? We write about that and much more in our reports that we put out in the Linn and Associate report. So we cover the metal markets. We're covering the currencies. We're giving you an idea of trade ideas, option trade, futures trade, telling you what we think commercials are doing, back and forth. If you'd like to see what we write about and how often, and believe me, we fill your mailbox up with it, but you can also customize what you get from us. Simply call my staff, or you can go online at www.iraepstein.com. Just simply click on it. Well, you'll see when you get to the page, it's a carousel of free offers. Click and you pick the choices that you want of different offerings. Or you can click up here. If you're watching me on YouTube, it'll take you right to our carousel page. I'm Ira Epstein. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.